The other story which happened to me, similar one, which Jung described in this book, Synchronicity, I'm not like surprised that I'm first time reading this book. I always considered Jung like a little bit crazy psychotic guy, and I didn't believe him. But his theory, I was making fun of it. But lately, these things happening for last 2 years. That's what he's described. This series or these things to me. And for example, when I was in Canada 2 years ago, I lived 1 year in Toronto. You know, I I stay in Toronto. I lived there in the time, and I'm originally from Czech Republic. I left 15 years ago, and time to time I talk to my mother, but not every day, like every 2 3 weeks or whatever. Yeah, and I used to have my grandmother. The age was very, she was 94 when she died. She died very old, and she was already in this kind of a situation, like she was not very mentally fit, and she was in this caretaking house for old people. And you know uh, my mother visited her every day, right? But there was no previous, expectation, or there were no some signs of this, that her medical conditions getting really, you know, bad, you know. And one night she just died very peacefully in the night, you know. And my mother visited her every day, so she went. They called her at 4 o'clock morning of the check time. I have to check on this, and they told her, "Oh my God, looks like we were checking on your ma, and she just died." And then my mother wait. It was 4 a.m. there in Czech Republic. She wait until I woke her up in Toronto in the morning, like 9 o'clock morning, and she announced me this sad uh, news. But I have to tell you, the day before, the night, she announced me this. After many, I would say years, because I didn't see my grandma 10 years. And, she was already 10, 15 years in this kind of I don't want to say it in ugly way, like mentally vegetable state, like she was not able to communicate and everything. And I just didn't visit her. I'm a bad guy. I just met my mother, and then I have this dream after years, after 5 or 6 years. And I have to say, even during the day or during these times, a long time I didn't think about her, like maybe 1, 2, 3 years. And suddenly I had a dream where my grandmother called me from downstairs. We used to live in this family house, and I used to have my room in the attic. And she always called me something like, "Hey, I'm going for grocery, or there is your lunch or something. And we live together with my mother and with her. And she always gave me this shout up, and I answer, "Yes, okay, grandma," etc., etc. And she always used to say, "So I'm going, Danny, I'm going." She always announced me before, "I'm going for grocery, I'm going this, I'm going to dentist, I'm going to..." And then when she was finally going, she gave me a shout, "So I'm going." And I had this dream. I'm back in my attic room 30 years back, or 25 years back, and I'm there. I'm lying in the bed during the day. I don't sleep, I don't know what I'm doing. That's my dream. And suddenly my grandma gave me a shout from downstairs, "So I'm going, I'm leaving forever." I was like, "What? Where are you going forever?" And the dream was very strange. I was like, "What? You leaving forever?" I gave back shout, and she says, "Yes, I'm leaving forever, but don't worry about it. Everything is okay." And the feeling was so warm. The feeling was like, yeah, that's cool. She's leaving. I didn't understand the dream. Why the fuck I have a have she was leaving the house, and she told me, "I'm leaving, so I'm leaving, but this time I'm leaving forever." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." It was like strangely weird dream, even though I didn't ask her from my attic room. I didn't give shout, "Why are you leaving forever this time, grandma? You usually go and you leave for grocery." No, I keep doing like daydreaming in my room, and she says, "Yes, I'm going, but this time I'm going forever." And but the feeling was like it was not forever, like that it should be like that. Or no, sorry, she says like, I'm not living forever, I'm living for good. I'm living for good, like this time I won't come back. I translated it wrong because the Czech language is very special. She didn't say I'm living forever, she said I'm living for good this time, I'm not coming back. And I was like, okay, grandma. But the feeling was like, see you later, no worries, it's just you leaving somewhere, we will see you in future, but not in this world. That was my understanding from the dream. Imagine my shock. I woken up and I received a phone call from my mother. After 5 days, I didn't talk to her. And she says, you know what happened? I said, what? Your grandma died in the night. In Czech Republic in the night. I was like, what the fuck? I just got this dream. I didn't think about her 3-4 years. There was no fucking previous sign that her health was worsening. She just died peacefully like old people. One night she just went. I didn't think about her years. My mother didn't tell me how she's doing. She go there every day, but she didn't mention it for years. That I knew she's going there very often. I didn't know if every day, but I knew that she's talking to nurses and this, and then she's keeping an eye on her. But we never thought about this, what she's doing with her mother there, with my grandmother. Like, we knew that she's kind of in this situation for 10 years when she's already like a little bit out of reality. So for 2-3 years, I was not like asking how she's grandma is doing, because I knew how she's doing. Like, she has everything what she needs. She's in this retired house, and my mother go to visit her 5 times per week at least. Imagine my shock after years of not thinking about my grandmother, because I never thought about this for last 5 years with my mother, what she's doing, how she's doing. Imagine maybe it was like, hey, same always, or whatever word or two, but she never even came to my mind, my grandmother, for years. What is the chance in night when she died? I have the dream when she's telling me, hey, Danny, I'm going, but this time for good. I won't come back. And she said it so with such a joy. I won't come back this time. Like, hey, I'm going. And the feeling was like, good, so you're going, good. I see you later, but I feel so good for you going now, and you won't coming back. Imagine I woken up with this sweet, beautiful dream that my grandma left somewhere. I didn't know what this meant. I thought the dream was about she's going, and she's going for, always she told me, hey, I'm going for grocery, I'm going this. So this time I have this dream which I never had before. Like, she's telling me, I'm going, but this time I'm going for good. Hey. And I woken up, I was like, the fuck, I had a dream of my grandma, like she used to give me a shout that she's going for grocery, or she's doing something, or she announced me she's going, but this time she told me I'm going for good. I woke up with this dream, very pleasurable feeling of the dream. She announced me this. She was so joyful. The voice was like, hey, I'm going, hey, I'm going for good, yeah. And the feeling was like, see you later, but I'm going for good. I won't come back to this world, but see you later. She didn't say it, but the meaning was like that of the dream. And then I received the same day the phone from Europe from my mother telling me, you know what happened? I said, no, your grandmother died in the night, 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something. I have to double check this. And I never thought about this. I was like, it's a coincidence? But no, I'm thinking, I'm very rational, atheistic man. And I'm thinking like, hey man, maybe I don't know what is your experiences, guys. But what could be the chance? And I swear to God, I have no reason to, to draw attention to me like, like these idiots or these psychics, I mean, yeah, so... And these things happening to me, I have so many stories like that. So I'm thinking like, so that's why when this feeling started, when I lived 10 years in Asia, I came back, I bought these tarot cards. And people were so like, you had tarot cards? A real estate motherfucker? The guy like you who was doing in debt and credit and money? Are you kidding me? You're now a tarot reader? And time to time I start to pull the cards, and people say like, the fuck is going on? I mean, like, how are you doing this? But it works. You see? And yeah, I mean, what do you think about this? So, this is the situation, and I'm really glad. If it's true or not, we will one day find out. But I'm really glad there are people like a Jung who paying the attention to this. And this guy in this book is talking about symbols, synchronicity, causality, which he says that he doesn't believe the causality, right? But between the synchronicity, between these psychoid phenomena. But I'm telling you, why the fuck we couldn't live in simulation? And some people making joke of us, how about in 200 years you do like, and you talk to the guys who simulate you, hey, how are you? Good. Can you tell me please the lottery tickets or this, what stock should I buy and what time so I win? And it will be normal communication. Just like, you know, just like in 1897 or 1877, Graham Bell come out with the phone, and first time in history he gave a phone to his colleague assistant in the next room, and first time in history happened the phone call, and they hear each other. So imagine 300-400 years before invention of the telephone in 15th century, you just go there, travel in time, and you would just come with your friend and you will show these people in 15th century, like you pick up mobile phone and from other room they pick it up and you would give it to these people from middle age and see, you see, could you hear it? That's the guy. This called telephone. They would look at you like, man, you crazy, man. You see, you devil, what the fuck is this? So why the fuck in 200 years, people would make a joke of us now in 2025, in 2225, they were like, 2025, the fucking idiots were communicating with simulators through tarot cards, through casinos, through markets, through this kind of primitive connections like synchronicities, music, things, and they didn't know they can just communicate with us. They were like pioneers, They were like something like, I don't know. They were something like Graham Bell they were something like 20 years before 1877 when Bell already knew that it's possible, I don't know. What do you think about this? Why it couldn't be so simple that we live in simulation and people communicating with us or whatever it is, some entity which simulates us? What do you think? What would be the way how they communicate? Well, probably not with the phone, right? Because we don't know. Like Einstein, all this is quantum physics, quantum mechanics. The time can be really relative. You can curve the time. Wittgenstein, all these people, think it over. Why the fuck before we come out with these telepathic things, before we develop clearly, for example, telepathy, or it could be that it's not simulation and we're talking to people from different time zones and they exist. There were some kind of researches which proved, and I say proved, when the player is focusing on the game, he can control the game just focusing on it, like a psychic. That's what Jung was talking about, is that there were these cards and games. There were these experiments when the guy in the Melbourne take a card and there were these signs and the guy was able to guess it, what is the card, all over the continent. So it was really telepathy, you see. So why you cannot have telepathical connection with some kind of simulation, I don't know, aliens, who the fuck are where they are, spiritual guards, or why you cannot communicate with people who died? Your family, for example, or somebody who you know already, anybody, you see? Or somebody who you didn't know and who died. Maybe you can have a phone call with, I don't know, Teddy Roosevelt or Hitler or whoever you like. How the fuck it's not possible? You see? Of course, the instruments which we have now are very primitive, right? Guessing, thinking, feeling, synchronicities, coincidences, tarot cards, I don't know, what kind of pendulums. This is like a really something before telephone in 16th century, right? Maybe we're about to see the real telephone. Before the real telephone, we have these primitive things like, you know, think it over. You come with Porsche from 21st century or with the Ferrari, Lamborghini, and you're driving there 300 kilometers in 16th century, people look at you like, oh my god, this guy is a devil. Why it cannot be like that? You see? But before, they have these primitive carriages, they have the fucking horses, you know, and they didn't know what is breaking the speed rule, right? So when, yeah, so why it cannot be like that? The technology, it's just a technology. It's just a telecommunication, yeah? Tell us, do we live in the simulation? Do we really live in the simulation or not? Can you believe it? 70 fucking 8 or cards? What the fuck is the chance? The chance is Wheel of Fortune. You see, Wheel of the Fortune. It represents faith. This card represents faith, like, hey, this is it. Don't question it even. And you can see on the card that there is the Wheel of the Fortune, you know. So if you in tarot cards, you know what I'm talking about. Why? You know, I'm talking about, do we live in simulation? Is our planet simulated? What you see here? You see the Wheel of fucking Fortune, right? I mean, if you are in tarot cards, you know that. What the hell is the possible? What is the most close card to toss than Wheel of Fortune when I'm asking if we live in the simulation? I mean, like, why I didn't toss up something else? You see? I'm asking again, do we live in the simulation or not? You see? This card means conflict. This card means people are fighting all over. You see? This card means aggression, conflict, or competition, or it means some kind of disputation, opinion as well, disputation. These people, they fighting all over and everybody say different things. You know, this card is called sometimes when people disagree with each other, or they talk in so many theories and things, and they just fighting all over who is right or not. Again, you know, you can find out, you know, of course you can say all these cards are like that there is some meaning which will come to the way, you know. That's what the Jung, you know, is talking about. Like, it can be all chance, right? You can always explain it somehow, right? Yeah, but that's the primitive of the telephone, right? I mean, this card means competition or fight. This means, for example, that I'm talking to you and I'm thinking that you look at me and you're watching this video, you are like, this guy is totally crazy idiot, and you totally disagree with me. You see, we disagreeing on the things. There is a conflict between us because I was thinking about some viewers who look at me and say, oh my god, you're totally crazy. You see, and I'm saying, no, I think it's true. It was my mental state. It was a argument, actually. When I was tossing the card, I was thinking I have an argument with my future viewers. I don't think so. There will be more than 5 viewers, by the way. I don't give a shit. I put it on YouTube, and I was thinking like, hey, the people who I posted for will disagree with me. This card is an argument card, you know, as an argument, you see. Or it can be people discussing some things, and they have different opinions. Again, I do it for certain. Is it true we live in simulation, or there are some entities we can communicate with and it's just not in our heads? It's real? Oh my god. Interesting. These cards went out, these two fall down. You know. So this card means a reunion, and as well a reunion with friends and with people. I was talking about this, that you can really, you know, this is like a party or talking with people, having fun, stuff like that. This card can literally mean that somebody is stealing your thoughts. You know, the swords represent thoughts, and somebody is stealing your thoughts. You see? Yeah, I was talking about telecommunications. Somebody stealing your thoughts. You can search it out. This card means somebody stealing your thoughts. This is like fun. You're having fun talking to friends. That's what I'm doing. I'm in kind of session. I'm having fun. It's a reunion with friends. Maybe it's with a reunion with my grandma who died. This card means theft of the thoughts. Thief of the thoughts. Sorry, thief of the thoughts. You see, he's stealing the thoughts. Swords represent the thoughts. The thinking. He's stealing the thinking. Grumble, thinking, telekinesis. Okay? Wheel of fucking fortune. It's the fate. This is it. And there is some disagreement about things. Argument, discussion, heated discussion, fate, and stealing thoughts. And reunion with friends or your family, possibly. Think it over. But it's fascinating, isn't it? So, have a nice evening. And I'm gonna keep reading, I guess, you see, because you never know what will happen in life. The life is a game, it's a one big secret. And the secret, you remember, like the name of my channel is, the secret is to be happy. So, I don't know, I'm a little bit superstitious, you see. I was talking to Lord Clownek. He was the Lucifer's demon for money. I was praying for a lot of money. Shit. Yeah. So let us see. Okay. Take it easy. You never know. But one day you will. Eventually, I guess. Until then, push it to the limits and enjoy your life.